Good morning, fellow members of the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. Today, we really have to do some work on the elevator. We start off Rav Shik continuing on with his Pirush of the Lost Princess. Remember? Lost Princess? Lost Princess is our neshama. The Lost Princess is what we're seeking. How we make contact? How do we get it together? How do we make it work? So he says, the second in command. He says, who's the second in command? Second in command is the Tzaddik Emes. In this case, he's always speaking about Rabbeinu Kodesh. Rabbeinu Kodesh is tirelessly working in Shemayim. It's Pnimi to us in order to make it possible for us to make his karvas to come close to Hashem. How do we do that? We have to find our souls. And that's what happens. But the Tzaddik Emes is a real person. He's not a malach that came from up above. He's actually a human being. What he's able to accomplish for us is a tremendous amount. But it's personal to us. How do we come to a position where we can gain from everything that he does? So let's read on and let's see what we have to do, because we're in the search of our neshamas. Halak Babaksha, so the great tzaddik, the second in command, the vizier, he starts traveling to try to find her. Remember, he's on the road. He spent a tremendous amount of time looking for her. Until he found her. And he's able to find the Shekhinah that's within him. A little Kabbalistic principle that's sometimes very difficult to understand is that we have these phrases, we have these spheros, which we call by the names Kachav, which Keser, Chachma, Bina. Then there's a Das, sometimes in the equation, we use that word. And then we have Chagat, which is called Chesed Gevur Tiferes, and Nai, which is Netzachod Yisod, and then Malchus, which is the letter Mem, Malchus, Chag Tam. So exactly what are we talking about here in how we use them? So he says, here we're speaking about the Olam of Atzilus and the Shekhinah, which is the Malchus of the Olam Atzilus. And then he comes along and he says, but this is our neshama. Well, how's that? I mean, is it Malchus, is it neshama? How's it work? Just like this is that the Kabbalistic principle, and it's a little strange, is that as we go closer and closer and closer to the source of everything, the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, then we have to run into a Malchus at the top, or the bottom, of another dimension. So that what comes out is that the Malchus of Atzilus is really the Keser of Bria, as the world was going down. So it's the other side of a coin is that the sign that's receiving all the sun, in terms that we can understand, relatively speaking, how this Kabbalah works, is that the coin which is receiving, let's say, the light, that's tremendous light of the Keser, of the parts of that it's in, but on its backside, where it's dark, it's like the moon, but that illumination is actually the highest part of the illumination of the more external, or the more lower level of light. So that Malchus actually is a Keser. It's a Keser to the lower element. This relates to us, because through the various different progressions that it takes this light to come all the way down to this low world where we live, go through a lot of darkening stages. But that doesn't mean that the inner essence of the whole thing is not the Shekhinah, which is the Malchus V'Tzilus. And that's our neshama. It's inside of us. So it's a way of metaphorizing a concept that we could work with a little bit. So he looked for his neshama. He looked a long time, and he finally found it. He says, here Rav Shik writes like this, Ki kach amru chachmeinu kadosh, the rabbis say in the Gemara and Megillah, Im yomer l'cha adam, if a person says to you, Yigati v'lo mitzasi, yeah, well, I put in a lot of effort in order to be able to find the real reality of life, but I didn't find it. Al tamim, don't believe that person. Lo yigati mitzasi, he says, what is easy? I'm just there, I have it. Lo tamim, don't believe that person either. Yigati mitzasi, but if I struggled, and I worked my life in order to find the essence of life and the essence of my life, Tommy, that person you could believe. Because he wants to say that this is a personal thing between the Rabbeinu Kodesh that he wants to say to you and me. He wants to say, if you want to find the real essence of yourself, why you're here, and what is eternal about you, you have to work on it. You have to work hard on it. Until you can get to a point where you have the holiness of your neshama, that you actually can taste it. So why would that be? It's because it's actually a portion of eternity itself. It's inside of us, but we're covered over by so many different things we can't find it. Moshe, his poyer Rebbeinu Zal, so he publicized this. He says this. He brings the sichos around here. He plugged himself. He said, "Look what I've been able to achieve. Look how close that I have been able to come to the Rebbeinu Shalom." And he also said, "But you know what?" He said, "I really struggled to get here. I worked hard to get here." So he brings the Yiddish over Meskipa, the Iker Sipurei b'fnei devarim ke'elu. So the main thing that he spoke to his immediate disciples was things like that. He said, so he wanted to brag before them and show them how high that he had come and how close that he had become to Hashem, and that the radiance was just absolutely shining out for him. But he wanted everybody to know this because he wanted to tell them, you can do this too. I want to show you how you could do this. Do what? To find the godliness within yourself. So that we could have jealousy between ourselves. This is the concept of Kina Seifrim. If I know more than you do, or you know more than I do, then I want what you have. So I have to work in order to try to find it. But Ma'alasach was such a tremendously high level. Now understand, this is a person that was humble like humble could be. It was just like your brother or the uncle that loved you, that always took care of you. So what was the reason why he did this? Because we should want to be like him, like that uncle that was so nice, that always brought us everything that we need. And what we need is contact with our true selves. In order to be able to make the effort and to do all the things that you have to do in order to be able to find Hashem. So then he goes on. The story goes on. We have this word. He used this word before. That this tzaddik, the tzaddik ha'emes here, he went to many different places. He wandered all over. He says, what is this? He says, this is the secret of tshuva. He says, this is L'chuti Maran, Chelik Aleph Siman Vav. A person who wants to come back. Back, remember, we're on the outside of the onion. Back means to try to get back into our panemius, to get in what's on the inside, to get what's the real essence of ourselves. A person that wants to come back to this. And I said this once before, you have to be smart. You have to become an expert. Remember, he used that word, that phrase, a derech, he divided in two, and he got two different kinds of buckies. He used derech as the number 224, divided by two. And he said one is a 112, which is the word bucky, and another word 112, which is the word bucky, because there's two different kinds of bikiyus. There's two different kinds of expertise that a person has to have. One is to be able to go forward. You have to realize that things will be successful for you. You'll have a good day of davening. You have a good day at work. You'll have a good day with the family. Whatever it would be. Your health. Whatever. That's the idea. And then there's another day where everything is going the wrong way. You wake up on the wrong side of the bed, so to speak. Things happen, and all different kinds of things are happening. These two different elements that affect our lives, and Rabbeinu Kodesh wants to teach us that this is, as the world turns, it doesn't stay static. We are constantly in a shifting set like a kaleidoscope. It's constantly changing around us. He says that you have to become an expert, and so therefore you have to realize that you're going to go swing back and forth. Bein ba'aliyah, bein ba'rida, whether things are going sweetly for you or whether things are not going sweetly for you. Talmid yimsa zakodesh baruch Hu. But you have to realize that benimit of the whole thing is Hashem. Hashem is the creator of the world. He's in every single aspect of the world. He's in the midst of everything. Ani Hashem b'kerev haaretz. Kamosha Koslov, im ezek shemayim shamata. So if we're dealing and we're going up and we're going to Shemayim and we have tremendous bit of learning and we're happy with this and that, Hashem is in the midst of all of that. But you know what? If I find myself down in the pit where I'm saying, how did I get here? What did I do? What did I do wrong? You have to understand Hashem is there too. Brought you to that place also because He's in everything, every action that you have. Ben Yerida, things are going smoothly, but the things are going the wrong way. So that honor. This is the idea of searching here and there. What's he searching for? There's a godliness within us, and that godliness is actually in all the different circumstances of our life continuously changing. You have to strengthen yourself because that's the fact of the world that Hashem put us into. A person has to spend a tremendous amount of time until his neshama reveals itself to him. And I think for myself is that it could reveal itself to me. I could lose it too. Go the other way. Finding your neshama, becoming one with Hashem and feeling all the tremendous spirituality is an aliyah. But you know what? You lose it too. So you have to find it back. So understand that this godliness itself is your neshama. It's the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. Inside. This is the daughter of the king, the neshama, the malchus, the shrina, that's lost inside of you. Until you can get into a circumstance, and people are and do, they get into a circumstances where they don't even know it's there. What is the ultimate purpose of the highest level that a person can get to in this world? Is to be able to have the merit to sense the reality, the true reality of the existence of Hashem in everything. And that your neshama really is a part of this oneness. Your neshama is really a part of Hashem. But you're not going to get this in a day. This takes a lot of effort. Somewhere I saw, I remember when I saw probably something Rav Shik wrote, that if a person did enough hisbaitis and he spent enough time thinking about what's going on in his life and talking to Hashem about it, that he could start to get a glimpse of what the Shekhinah is all about. Because the Shekhinah is just a more panimi level of trying to reach us. Just as you're trying to reach the Shekhinah is trying to reach us. Look, if there's 6 million or 13 million Jews in the world, we got 80% of the people off the derech. What do you think the Shekhinah feels about that? So if you look at your own life and you see, things you're not winding out 100% the way that you want, but you got to keep trying. Well, the Shekhinah is continuing to try too. It goes both ways. So again, your neshama is really the essence of God itself. You need time to do this. So every single situation that you find in your life, whether they're empty places or they're places that are really full, is that you have to spend time trying to see the God that's in that place. You have to go to deserts, he says, in deserts and fields and forests. But he means all the places that are empty in your life. Excuse me. This Sheni the Melech, he looked for her. He looked for her a tremendous amount of time. Let's see if we can say just a little bit more. This is a general rule. Like we say, the general thing we could say about a tzaddik emes, Shuha Sheni the Melech, which once again is the Sheni the Melech, and he said before in his introduction that the word Sheni is a Sharshi Nishmanas Yisrael. What does that mean? It says everything is a Yichud. There's really only one Neshama. That's the Shama of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, whatever that could possibly mean. But it's possible to reach back into that, to go more and more to the Yichud of the joint place where all the Neshamas of the Jewish people come out. In order to get to that place, the place you have to care. You have to really want to be there. So as Nishmas Yisrael will Baruch until he gets to a point where he can find the origin of the souls of the Jewish people, and then try to figure out a way to get them back, to get them to coming back on the path. So the tzaddik himself, he has good days and bad days. He has days when he's successful in trying to reach the places that he needs to do, and some days he's not. Because he knows what's his job. His job is to try to make us be aware of the neshama that's within inside of us, give us a possibility of a way to be able to find it. And sometimes it's not so easy to do that, to be able to plant this idea within us. Because people, they do get an idea, okay? Me, I'm just a person. He says, I get an idea, but the next thing you know, I don't want it anymore. So I don't want something else. Rebel against it. So he wrote like this in Chaim Aran. Ani tzarech tamid lefanus derek b'makom sheho yitohu midbar. He says, I'm continuously need to clear a path in a place that's either empty, totally empty and wasted, like a desert. The katseis misham kola akvim, all the things that hold us back, that I have to be able to cut them down. Lasos derek kavusha, to make a paved road. V'tzrichin the katseis ilanos, I have to cut down trees that are gedalim sham alfei shanim, that have been growing there for 1,000 years. In other words, all the impediments of our lives, we inherited our lives from the people who came before us. There are impediments that have been here for generations and generations. It makes it very, very difficult for us to be able to find ourselves. So in order to be able to do this, he had to keep moving around. He had to go back, he had to cut it back down again, he had to find a new path. And so that you could have a paved path for many people to come to. So this is Breslov. So Rabbeinu Kodesh started like a little river, like the Mississippi River up at the very top of Minnesota. It was a stream. Nachal Neveah Malkar Chachma. It's a tremendous thing that he wanted to teach, but you had to bring it. And it didn't just find its way to you and me that were listening to it. It worked. He had to work and struggle with it, and all the Hasidim that came before him. He had to make something possible for you and me to be able to get in. And I see in my own lifetime that there's been a tremendous flowering of the work of Rabbeinu Kodesh, not just him, but also of the Uri and the Baal Shem and all of the greats Mekubalim. And listen, some of the greatest Mekubalim are the students of the Gaon of Vilna. There's a Litvish there. So you have so many things here. You have Yaakov Hillel now. You have Rabbi Memran. You have so many people that want to bring something to you. But this all takes a lot of effort. It's a path. So let's look like this also. Every Jew is an aspect of a tzaddik. That your people are all tzaddikim, all of the Jews. The ones that are following Rabbi Nachman, the ones that don't. The ones that are following the Torah, the ones, unfortunately, who don't. The person has to be looking, find his true essence. What is it? It's the princess that has been lost from us. So he says, so don't think this is a day's work. This is a work of a lifetime. Yamim v'shanim, days and years. B'yagiyas v'trachos u'gedolos ma'od. It's tremendous amount of effort, because along the path, and Rabbeinu Kodesh says about himself, you will fail. When you fail, you'll find yourself in a place where you don't believe anymore. Or maybe you can't figure what the belief is, or somebody told you, or you feel like it should be, but you can't find it. You have to work on it. You have to find God in that spot where you fell to. And from that place or any place, you have to cry out a lot to Hashem Yisbarach. And go around all the different places, the empty places where you can't find forests, the deserts of your life. Always beseeching him. Look for chen from him, from grace from him. So that he should have mercy, pity on you. Ki orech zaman rav, because your life is a long story, as he's telling these stories. Ad shezochen lezakek is gufa v'gashmi v'hachamri, until you can find your way past all the impediment of your body, all the physicality of it, all the way that it's so congealed on the outside of this onion. V'na'asa kli, and you make that body a kli, a vessel, shetayir bo nishmaso, where the shamash can shine out. Shehi amitas mitzioso yizbarach, because it's not you. It's actually the truth of Hashem Yisbarach. That's the lesson for today. Thank you so much for joining the Kollel. All the best.